They want influence.
Yeah.
They want control. So holding the Bitcoin, you have influence and control.
So now they'll leverage the cycle. So when we all want to take profits, they'll be the ones that buy it all.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden it'll be 140K and you'll be like, what the fuck? Yeah. Super cycle. Yeah, because we wanted to mention that because it might not just go down.
It might not.
So anyway, okay.
Looking good right now. Anyways.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Oh, hey guys, welcome back to your Future Home Business Vlogs. I'm Marty Ball.
And I'm Julian Biggs.
We got Spencer on sound screens. Thanks for joining us today, folks. We like to come to you once a week or so and talk about this transitioning world of finance and go over some subjects that we do believe will benefit your future hand. Simply because they've benefited ours, folks. So we think we're here to help. So do us a favor by smashing that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Comment down below. Let us know where you're from and what you think. And let's get right into it. What are we up to today and how can we plan for tomorrow, Julian?
Awesome. Okay, we're coming into the end of the year, so we're going to talk about that possible super cycle. We didn't get much bearish pressure coming into the end of the year, so we're going to talk about that. But first, as always, the market scope. Let's get into it.
Market scope.
Okay, here we go. We're zoomed out. We're looking at the monthly chart. This is showing us all of Bitcoin's chart history on Bitstamp, a trading view here. The monthly, what I want to draw attention to is this big progressive orange channel. I've got these two parallel lines running with each other. This has been the history of Bitcoin over the last 10 years. So in my opinion, this channel's pretty strong. And now let's just start to zoom in here and see what's going on.
It looks pretty strong to me too, Julian.
Looks pretty.
Good observation.
Good observation.
Up and to the right.
Up
just
and
how
to
we like it.
Yeah, and that's how Bitcoin works, right? So we got to think
that's how inflation works, Julian.
This is
charts it.
The logarithmic scale, so it does have to start to make some corners here as this thing expands into infinity.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get zoomed in. So I've got these other lines going kind of perpendicular to the progressive channel we've seen over the last 10 years here with the highs from previous bull runs and some of the resistance points along the way since the 2017, 18, and 2020, 21.
Very significant levels.
Bull runs. Significant levels. Okay, so zooming in, let's keep going in. We got two bounces this year. So the bottom bounce at 15.4, which we call here on your future hand, at 15.4 was the bottom of the progressive channel, and now a second bounce. We can see that was, a little higher, but it doesn't matter. We're still inside, right? And now hitting the previous resistance, which was the fall points of the 2020 and 2021 bull run. So this is, in my opinion, what would start the next real bull run. This breakout.
That's what would make everybody think that the bull run is starting. See, this is just a game of psychology here.
Yeah.
And these significant levels are on there for a reason. Everybody's watching them. Everybody's talking about them. And the market makers also know all this is happening. So this is the kind of thing they do.
Right. So now if this is the trend, though, then this is just that. So they'll give us a fake out here.
A bull trap.
A bull trap, potentially, before probably retesting this orange line again. And
maybe even bear trap, retest the green line.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
That's what they love to do.
Yeah.
It's like it's always going to wick away and deeper than you thought.
It's all about the candle close.
Like
that's
this
why we
one
use
here,
candles.
This wick here is a prime example of that, right?
Yeah.
And then a massive shoot to
massive bear trap.
So
and that's what they do, right?
That's what I'll be looking for here now coming into the end of the year. I did have another sell order up in the 39K range because I did feel like it could hit there, and that would be that wick over. So let's get into the weekly. Zoom into the weekly here. And the other dotted green line, I have these a little bit kind of, the opacity is just kind of faded into the back, but you can see this other dotted green line, and that is the trend that we rode on the weekly from the 15,000 bottom, and you can see the wick touches that we've had.
So that's the yearly trend.
Yeah. So this is the yearly trend inside of these other longer and progressive trends. And so you can see we hit the resistance here. This was the major resistance line, and then we went all the way back this week to test the year's trend line. So we fell below, and these are these fake outs we're talking about. So we fell below the year's trend line here, and then schwammy, we're right back up and catching the new high. So now we've got 1, 2, 3 highs here again, and potential to slow down. So,
well, I want to say something right now. So, in my opinion, if we see a breakout of that line within the next month, like before the end of the year, that'll turn into a wick, in my opinion.
So
what I would like to see is it flag out here until April.
Yeah.
If it continued to flag till April, where's the tip of that? Where's that apex?
This is what we have now.
Where's the apex?
And that's only January.
It's only January.
Right. So, but that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
To try and hold. But there's,
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, there's also a good chance that this green line just breaks pretty quick, and we go back to testing this,
which would
this
honestly
larger
be
green line.
perfect. I
But
would
this
love
is
that.
this is what I see now, and so this is going to be some sort of a pennant. And in my opinion, if this plays out, that's a bearish pennant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and this, but it also could turn into a flag here, right? You know, potentially, and just break out, and we'll see this little fake out at the end of the year, over top of that somewhere.
Yeah,
as well.
the halving is
But on
in
the-
April. Like, we're 6 months.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's
But on
crazy.
the weekly right now, this is kind
This
of
is
going
to be 2 years. This show probably is 2 years.
This episode,
Probably something like that.
this
I would
episode
start-
might be 2 years.
This because I think we
Yeah.
started it in November because we started it right at the top of the last bull run to tell people not to buy Bitcoin.
It's true.
And we tried to tell you guys why, and then we were
Yeah.
the whole way down. We were telling you wait,
But if you-
start to
so-
DCA, blah 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 blah. And now look where we are here now. 2 years later,
And if you had DCA'd from the top,
even if you weren't patient,
even from the
Yeah.
from the top at 69K, if you had dollar cost average it in once a week or once every 2 weeks, whatever the case was, you'd be in profits right now. You'd be in healthy profits right now. And if you had started, so I tried to give this example to people this year, and I just and I said it was like I didn't call it Bitcoin or whatever. It was just like if I had
an asset.
Yeah, if I put $10
An asset
into
of
an
some kind.
asset, into an asset every day, so if you dollar cost average $10 a day into an asset that went over up 150% in the first year, you would have made a profit of approximately around $2,700 on top of the money that you saved, right?
Yeah, so every single DCA that you've put
And
in
it's
there
like-
is there,
it's-
plus another 27.
Yeah, it's hard to go outside without spending $10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like you step out the door and you can just hear ka-ching, like, you know, like,
Unless you're going to work, you're spending money. Unless
Well,
you are
you gotta-
working,
yeah.
unless you're working, actually, even
Yeah.
going to work costs money. Unless you are working, you're spending money.
yeah.
If you're not making it, you're spending it.
Yeah, but you're spending your time and attention in that way. Like
Yeah.
you're giving currency.
Yeah.
Either
Well,
way.
value. You're
Yeah.
you're giving the greatest value, and that is your time.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
For that.
But if you put it into Bitcoin, which is, in my opinion, it's more money than any money that's existed.
By far.
We've got all kinds of currencies, but
Oh, man.
Bitcoin is real money.
Yeah, it's real.
It's-
Because it's scarce, because it has a limited supply.
Yes.
Because it has no issuer.
Yes.
Because it is
Yeah.
capped.
Now-
Because all these things like
Now, okay,
that the Federal
everyone's
Reserve
like,
doesn't.
well, I think, you know, gold this and gold that. It's so like that one. It's just such. It seems like it's something that you should intuitively know at this point that
Yeah.
that gold is out, because
It's
who's
out.
got the gold? No one's got the gold. And go to the airport with a bar of gold and try to go somewhere with a bar of gold and see what
Yeah.
happens. I promise
Yeah.
they're going to take it from you.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that kind
Yeah,
of shit.
go or go with 50 grand in cash.
Yeah.
They're going to take it from you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what you can go with?
Yeah, you can go with $1 billion.
$1 billion
worth
with a Bitcoin.
of Bitcoin.
yeah.
Literally, if you
Yeah.
had all the Bitcoin, which is,
Yeah.
you know, impossible now, obviously, but like, you can. It's on a flash
doesn't
drive.
matter, yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody can do anything about it, and nobody will ever be able to do anything about it because there's no
Snoop
issuer.
Dogg wears his on his neck.
Yeah, because there's no issuer. So when
so
it comes
funny.
to Ethereum, Vitalik is the CEO. They can actually control Ethereum because they can control him, because he is subject to the laws and the restrictions and regulations of all that type of thing, right? But there is nobody to talk for Bitcoin or to be responsible for Bitcoin but all of us.
Right.
So there's no way, whether it's mathematics, scientific, psychological, that it can be controlled.
Right.
And that's where the value is and the scarcity, right? So it's like you said, everybody just wants
sorry, I'm
to
distracted.
everybody just wants to have a good life, right? Like the guy that's in the airport that's going to take the bar of gold from you, he's just going to do that because he was told to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
He doesn't give a shit.
There's no regulations for Bitcoin, so
Yeah.
he's not going to do anything because he doesn't want to cause harm. He doesn't want to, that's his job. He's got to do what he's told, right? They don't make the law, they just enforce it. That's
Yeah.
what they always say. Sorry, sir, I don't make the law, I just enforce it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, guess what? Now there's something called Bitcoin that there is no law. Like it's lawless because because it controls itself, right? With the audited every 10 minutes and all the computers making sure that all the ledgers are perfect.
It's the perfect system because it's
Yeah.
ungoverned.
It's ungoverned, and it's made sure that it's perfect between multiple parties, all parties. Every single person has a accessible to the ledger, so everybody gets to see.
And it's
if the-
completely immutable. Like there's
Yeah.
no one, you can't change it.
Yeah, there's
right?
no
Like,
guy
there's
behind the curtain.
no man behind the curtain.
No man behind the curtain. It's all right out in front. It is the roots of a utopian society, right? It is what that eventually will be built off of.
But it's like, but you know, we have come to believe that we need to be satisfied,
Well, what do you
in the
do?
first 5 or 7 seconds. Just let me try to get the thought out. So 5 to 7 seconds, right? People don't realize that change happens over it's about 2 generations that it takes to change how society is.
You have
is
to do the
living,
kids. You have to
right?
target the children.
So, but it's like they've programmed us now to have a 5 to 7 second attention span. If you want to be popular on Instagram, you got to hit good content in 5 to 7 seconds, right? Like they don't. And that, like, you don't get more than that. Like, and it's wild. So it's like, if people gave more than 5 or 7 seconds to think about something and actually produce their own thoughts,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty simple to see.
It's kind of crazy that people actually think that 5 to 7 seconds of attention is valuable. Like, why do you care? Why are you wasting your time making videos for people to watch for 5 seconds and then being satisfied?
But the thing is that
come on, guys.
So, but that's the stupid thing.
Making reels is fun.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. But so the guy that's making 3 reels a day, 5 to 7 seconds each, is making $10,000 a month. Okay. And then the guy who built the fucking buildings and doing the shit, he's going to work for fucking, 8 to 10 hours a day so he can scroll those 5 to 7 seconds
While he's on the
all
shitter.
weekend,
Yeah.
and he makes $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's real life isn't a game.
Well,
This
it's
is what we're
supply-
talking
it's
about.
supply and demand,
Real life
right?
isn't a game, but society has made it a game.
Yeah.
So all these people get stuck in this game world. You want to talk about fantasy life, fantasy living. It's like, this is it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you
Yeah.
put the same effort in those 5 to 7 seconds or 5 to 7 minutes or whatever the case may be into just, and it's like
Also-
something as simple as going for a walk or drinking
well,
water.
also-
Like, just take care of yourself. a
Also,
little more.
working on having an attention span.
Yeah.
Focus on something for a couple hours. Get something
Learn a new
done.
skill.
Finish.
Learn a new skill,
Finish
yeah.
something.
Brush your teeth with your left fucking hand.
Yes, actually, that's a very good way to build dendrites, and which is neurological pathways.
Yeah.
And
Or eat
that's how you
mushrooms.
can. That's a bad influence, Julian. Don't do mushrooms, kids. Don't smoke. Don't do any of that stuff. But there is
This
a
isn't a kid's show.
there is a very that's
That
true.
could
This
be.
is not made for children.
It could be, I guess.
There is a very good potential, in my opinion. I was just thinking the other day of there being a super cycle. So the last, like you showed that
Yes.
chart of Bitcoin's progression over the last decade, and we've seen 80 to 90% retracements every 4 years or so.
Yep.
And now with what everybody knows about Bitcoin and how it's been doing that consistently, what if these big players get in and it just doesn't retrace? Because everyone sells their Bitcoin at the top in November of 2026 when that's projected
Yeah.
to be the top.
And the other guys that are rich they don't have to
Exactly.
sell. All they want to do
sell,
is
and
accumulate.
they just keep buying.
Yeah.
And then
they do it with your money. They do it
Exactly.
with
And
your
then
money.
all the shrimp like us and the crabs that are like, awesome, we've got a little bit of
Where's the whale
Bitcoin.
at?
Exactly. It's like this is the top. We've been studying for 8
just-
years to
we're-
take profits today,
Yeah, we're plankton.
and we get scooped up by the whales.
Yeah.
Right? So like
And then yeah.
it's like what if what if it doesn't do that?
And this is why it doesn't matter
I've got you now, Bitcoin.
if you.
no,
this is
you
why I
don't.
say DCA.
Yeah.
And if you are always into Bitcoin, and you're always buying Bitcoin, you can always be selling.
Yeah.
That is the whole and sole purpose of Bitcoin. Is
Yeah.
that we put our trust into it because our monetary policy failed.
Mm-hmm.
We put our trust into Bitcoin, and you'll just always have what you need. So it's like
Yeah. It's actually very satisfying.
it's just a revolving door.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the thing for me. It's like I don't hold on to it. I buy so often that I can spend it. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to go. It's over there. I just bought a fucking
Well, think about it,
4K
man.
drone cam because
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I'm gonna sell some.
Yeah.
It's like,
Take
oh,
some
Bitcoin's looking
profits.
good.
Yeah.
But it's like I was still buying Bitcoin that day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, exactly, because if you're putting $50 in here and there, take $1,000.
yeah.
You know?
like live your life.
Yeah.
Right. Like
right. And that's the thing is if you continue to buy in, like you said, you just
Yeah.
take a chunk,
And-
right?
and
DCAing in smaller amounts over smaller periods of time,
Yeah.
and then you just take a bag.
Yeah.
You know, DDD take a bag,
Yeah.
DDD take a bag, but
And
you
it's
always,
gonna-
you don't
it's-
ever sell it all.
Bitcoin's gonna last another like. The last one prints in
130
another 100
years,
years or something like that,
yeah.
right? So it's like way beyond your lifetime. And
Yeah.
if you start that now, you're going to set up your future generations will be quite pleased.
Yeah,
with you.
so that's honestly what I was kind of getting at. It's like it's at this point, it's almost like don't because well,
You're not getting rich, but your kids might.
Yeah, well, that's just it, right? If you go and take a bunch of profits now, there's so many stories coming out on Twitter recently, or X, about people, and I'm subject to it myself. Actually, the first time I bought Bitcoin, it was $3,000. I put like $250 in, and I sold it at $3,000 or something. I know, right? Like, or so what I say, I bought it at $3,000. I thought I sold it at $4,000. It's like, and I was like, yeah, I made a couple $100, stoked, but then kind of just ignored it for a while and didn't really pay attention, didn't DCA, and it was like, wow. And there's other people that did it for dollars, like literally bought it for 5 cents and sold it for $1, and we're like, woo. And now it's like, yeah, so it's like,
but yeah, so
it's hard to kind of,
but back to top there, the potential of the super cycle. So like he's saying, that the rich, it doesn't matter. So if the goal is now, if it's a race to get the bag of Bitcoin, then they won't sell it. They don't need to take profits because they understand now that it's better to buy than it is to sell Bitcoin.
It's
right?
Oh man, they want influence. They want control. So holding the Bitcoin, you have influence and control.
So now they'll leverage the cycle. So when we all want to take profits, they'll be the ones that buy it all.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden it'll be 140K, and you'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Or whatever, right? It's going to surpass the amount that everyone's talking about being the top, right? Because once they're in, and just like everything else, right? Like
that's
everything gets crushed.
Always buy.
Exactly, and we at least have a chance now to continue to buy.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
buy.
Not financial advice, but do us a favor, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, let a comment down below, let us know what you think, where you're from, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bigs and Bugs out. Peace. I am stuttering hard today. What is going on with me?
There's a fucking stutter machine.
I just
I was trying to be
today,
clear,
Junior.
I feel like I'm like.